Hello and welcome back. We're still here in Orgrimmar, and you can see some new decorations hanging up. The Lunar Festival has actually begun, so that's kind of fun. Anyway, let's continue on our quest from Thrall. So as I had mentioned last time, this Hidden Enemies quest becomes a Ragefire Chasm quest, so I'd like to knock this one out quickly. It's not far from here. And then we'll have 3 once I'm done with this one. And I think there's 2 more. Yeah, so these are from Thunderbluff. And then I think there's one from Undercity. And one other in Orgrimmar. Actually right down by where the instance is, so I can pick that one up anytime. I mean, like, literally right before walking into the instance, so there's 5 total. We're level 12, we're actually pretty close to 13. I think I'll probably want to run that around 15 or 16, so not too far away. I'm looking forward to it. I can heal the instance unless the group I find already has a healer in it, then I can DPS too. Either way is fine with me, but I think I'd prefer to do healing just so I can work on it. I've healed before, I mean I know what I'm doing, but I wouldn't say I was, you know, like a full-time healer ever, so at the higher levels it might start to get a little more challenging. We'll see. I want to drop this down to rank 1. Save some mana on it. So basically, we are just killing the guys in this cave here, these Burning Blade cult folks. And one of them will randomly have a Lieutenant's Insignia on it. So we'll just keep killing until we find it. Oh, I forgot. I'm just now starting out my daggers, so you can see my skill levels are going up pretty quickly, and my attacks are pretty much not landing at all. All my damage is probably coming from my lightning shield. Lots of parries, dodges, hitting for 1. Oh man, it's a good time leveling up. But as I had mentioned, daggers attack really fast. I mean, you can tell I'm hitting pretty quickly, so thankfully my skill will go up relatively quickly. Got a minion. Let's go to Voidwalker first. Line of sight the Warlock there. Actually make sure to Earth Shock her Shadow Bolt casts. Get that one. I'm almost dying. Ooh, another 6 slot. Well, don't really need it, but this water is a pretty low level drink. but it's working okay. I'll want to replace that with ice cold milk soon. That's the next higher level. I would think we'll probably start finding it on mobs we kill soon-ish. Definitely in the teens. You know, while my weapon skill was low, I probably should have been using, what is it, Stone Skin Totem instead of Strength of Earth, because I'm hardly even hitting him anyway. The strength bonus is minuscule. That would have probably been more intelligent. Oops, that's not good. We're hitting a little better now, though, so we'll be alright. Let's go this way. This is another one of those quests that just drops one thing randomly, so you can get really lucky and get it on your first kill, or it can take clearing out the entire cave. Never know what you're gonna get. Oh, and I dinged on the Voidwalker. It's kind of cool when you hit a new level when you're in the middle of fighting multiple mobs, because you get all your health and mana back instantly. I wouldn't recommend strategically trying to make that happen, because that's pretty dangerous, but kind of nice when it happens, though. Much better now, much better damage. My daggers, I mean, pretty caught up. Not too bad. Much different. It's much different now how much mana I'm spending per fight. Those low levels, it's very forgiving. Regenerating your mana, but that is not the case for the majority of the game. So I think I'd mentioned that the elemental tree is very mana hungry. So enhancement is a much better choice for that reason. And so now that we're fighting mobs that cast a lot more spells, you might start to see how having Earth Shock available as often as possible is a really good thing. Can interrupt a lot more of these Shadow Bolts. But if you're using flames, oh no, I was not paying attention. Oh, that was really bad. I was talking and not paying attention to my health. Not recommended. Anyway, now that I'm safe, let me finish my thought here. If I was using Flame Shock, which, you know, does add some DPS, it's kind of nice, but if you get unlucky and you just used it and then the enemy starts casting right after that, well, too bad. You can't interrupt the spell, so that's why I personally don't use Flame Shock. But I mean, it does add some solid DPS, so, you know, if you knew you were fighting guys that don't cast like this one, it can be worthwhile still. You know, if you really want to, when you've got these columns here like this, you can kind of play ring around the rosy. Oops. With casters, so that they can't cast. So now I'll run behind the rock over here. Can't cast. It's kind of funny. Oh, got a respawn over there. Oh, they respawn fast in this cave. I'll start working that way again then. As I had mentioned before, line of sight is your friend. Use it all the time. Anytime you can. Especially if you are any form of a tank or plan on tanking ever. Positioning is very, very important. So, might as well start working on it when you're playing by yourself and the stakes aren't quite as high. Man. It's the sort of thing that makes you think, like, not killing the right guys or something. I know that I am, but it's just taking a while. One thing worth noting, though, about using line of sight on, you know, pillars or things like this, is that unfortunately you can't 100% trust them. You will sometimes run into cases where there's a, you know, solid pillar or something that looks like this that, you know, certainly looks like something that you could hide behind, and you do, and they can still shoot you through it or something. That is certainly something that happens too, and it's unfortunate, so that's something you gotta watch out for. unfortunately, if it happens to you, there's really not a lot you can do about it. There we go. We got it. Right as we're working on exiting the cave. It's not too bad. Alright, let's head back to Thrall. So this dropped off of a lieutenant, supposedly, of the Burning Blade. I don't think he has explained his plan to us yet. I won't spoil it. Pretty smart. Thrall's a smart guy. I haven't forgot about the Fire Totem quest either, so I'm just as anxious to get it as anybody, but I wanted to knock this out since we were close by. I don't think there are any more quests that we need to go out and like really do anything. I think we just need to go talk to somebody now, and then we'll be done with that until we actually run RFC. Ragefire Chasm is RFC. I don't think I had said that yet. I'm sure you can see how that came about. Nobody wants to type out the full name. Excuse me. Nobody wants to type out the full name of instances when they're looking for a group in chat or something. It's way too long to type, so all of them are abbreviated. Pretty much everything in the game is abbreviated. Cities, dungeons, spells. The vast majority of the dungeons make sense. You just have to get used to them, I guess. There are some of them that are pretty similar, and every once in a while people will get them mixed up. It's like there's an RFC, and there's also an RFK and an RFB. Those are ones that people get mixed up sometimes. Oops. So I said there's an RFK, there's also an SFK. I've had a group mix those up once. I tried to find a group for SFK, and they said SFK, and I joined. Turned out they wanted RFK, and just somehow made that typo. It happens sometimes. Oh. Let's get our mana. I don't recall if I had mentioned before, but each level, or each row, I guess, of these talent trees requires you to spend at least 5 points in that tree per row that you want to go down. So like if I hover over one of these in the second row, there's a red message saying I need to spend 5 total points in this tree to unlock these. So since we're just starting it, I need to spend 5 points between basically just these two talents, and then the second row will unlock. And then, 5 points per level. You don't have to spend them in the level right before it. So if I wanted to, to get to the third level, I could put 5 here and 5 here. and it would unlock the third one. You don't have to spend them right above,
Welcome to
but
Warcraft.
usually you will,
Come
because
to serve the
in
Horde.
general, they get better as they go down, so I will not be buying any in this talent for sure. Do you have the insignia yet? It'll be a vital tool in infiltrating what I believe is the greatest threat to the Horde, and finally finding peace in our new home. You will learn how intricate a web men and orcs alike can weave when they are motivated by greed and power. The hidden agendas, the corruption, all of it will become clear. You'll find yourself in the midst of a war you never knew existed. Good. The spirits be praised. Perhaps you are the one who will finally put my greatest fears to rest. Who would suspect someone so young and so brave would rise up and champion our cause? You remind me of myself when I was younger. I will ensure that you are justly rewarded for your efforts if we both survive the coming storm. But there's time for more praise later. You've not accomplished anything in comparison to what you will face, but this is a good start. Now, let us see if this insignia you found is worth the effort. There's a warlock within the city who believes he has my trust. He does not know that I realize where his true loyalties lie. He is in fact the leader of the Burning Blade. But do not rush off to do battle with him. He has a purpose, and we shall use him against our enemies. Take this insignia to him in the Cleft of Shadow here in Orgrimmar. Speak to him, and see if he believes you are one of his own. Then return to me here. So we're going undercover. Kind of, even though he doesn't actually know who we are. So the Cleft of Shadow is right here in the middle. I actually hadn't run through there yet. There's two ways to get in. One through the drag, and then there's actually a side entrance over here, closer to us. So we're going that way. The Cleft of Shadow is where rogue and warlock trainers are, for the most part. I guess it makes sense. They want to hide in the shadows or something. And RFC is also right down here. So if you see this big old swirling portal right in front of us, that's it. We're not going to go in quite yet. Here's our guy. So, listen closely to what you are told and do not quickly trust or distrust, for even friends serve their own ends, shaman. Our great war chief knows this, and to prove that there are warlocks within the Horde who do not wish to destroy it from within or gain control over it, I have volunteered to aid our young leader in any way I can. But he's lying. So I'm going to tell him, you may speak freely, you may speak frankly, Niru. Ah, one of our own. It is good to see our numbers are growing so rapidly that I can no longer keep track of the faces of our members. Kind of an idiot, isn't he? That fool Thrall thinks I am working hard to cleanse the images of warlocks and prove we are his servants. Idiot. The Burning Legion will make ash of this entire world after it drains it completely. It is good to see the Burning Blade is taking over where the Shadow Council once failed. Naive fool. The Burning Blade is the Shadow Council. There are many cults and organizations under the Council's rule, but all of them are just extensions of their will. I may lead the Burning Blade, but I'm still just as much a pawn to the Council as you are to me. Look at the Searing Blade. Most of them think they are becoming the next rising group of powerful warlocks that they will replace the Shadow Council. So the Searing Blade is expendable? I didn't want to laugh over his laugh. Save for their leaders, the Satyr Basilan and the Warlock Jurgash. Yes, all of them. That is why I constantly send Thrall's worshippers at them. It gives Thrall the impression that I'm weeding out the evil in the bowels of his great city. The victory is in reality twofold. Kill Thrall's faithful and test the strength of those in the Searing Blade to see if they are truly worthy of joining me. If there's anything you would have of me, I will make it known to you. You are obviously already proving yourself in our ranks to become a lieutenant so quickly. Perhaps you can return to me later, and I will have tasks for you. The Council adores those skilled in the arcane, but servants of all kinds are always welcome, no matter their profession.
Victory!
And this is the guy that gives the other quest too. The primary task set upon me by our great war chief is to root out the creatures responsible for infesting our lord's great city with demonic influence. The Burning Blade is one threat, but there are others. The Searing Blade, for instance, who make their home in Ragefire Chasm, secretly attempting to subvert innocent members of the Horde. If they are to be stopped, then their leader must be slain, a Felguard named Taragamon, the Hungerer. Kill him, and his heart will appease Thrall of this, I'm sure. I probably should have done those in the opposite order. It didn't really make sense that he told us the Searing Blade was under his control, and then tell us to go kill them afterwards. That's right. So, let's now go snitch to Thrall.
Loktar, friend. What is it?
Excellent, most excellent. What you've done this day is only the first step in a much broader foundation. A foundation that we will build the destruction of the Shadow Council on, once and for all. Tell me all he said, and leave not one word out. It may be more important than you realize. Leaders of the Searing Blade. This concerns me most. If they are the ones of value to Niru, then those are who we must target first. This Satyr, Vazalon, and the other Niru mentioned. What was he, a warlock? Must be slain. Return to the Cleft of Shadow and enter Ragefire Chasm. Find those two leaders of the Searing Blade and kill them. Be careful not to let Niru know it was you who did this. You must retain your identity as one of his sisters in arms. So even though the entrance to the chasm is literally right in front of his tent, and he would see me entering it, and then, you know, right afterwards, oh, my guys are dead. He's still not going to figure it out, supposedly, so that's kind of funny to me. But, there we go, we've got 4 of the 5. And then, there's one more in Undercity, which is the undead capital. I'm actually half tempted to go do that now. I guess just to keep the exploration going still, since I haven't been there yet. Oh yeah, so the Lieutenant's insignia is still in my bags, even though we don't need it anymore. I can actually destroy it by dragging it out here into blank space and then destroying it. So every once in a while you'll come across a quest where you'll complete it, but the quest item that it required does not get taken out of your inventory. That's one of them. So once you're done with that little discussion with Niru, or maybe you should wait until you turn it into Thrall, I'm not sure if you need it there, but for whatever reason, it does not get destroyed, so you can go ahead and safely destroy it after that. So since I've got my Hearthstone set to Thunderbluff, and I think I'll keep it there, at least for now. I'm not going to move it over to Orgrimmar. what I'm going to do is go turn in the Call of Fire quest, wrap that up, and then run back over here to that tower you can see behind this house or hut. There's a tower. That's how we get to Undercity. So I'll turn this in, and then while we're in the zone still, I will run over and we'll go check out Undercity for the first time and grab that quest. And then Hearthhome to Thunder Bluff, and then finally be ready to continue in the Barrens. I think doing it this way should save us a little bit of time, just because we're already in Durotar. Durotar was actually named after Durotan, who was Thrall's father. And Orgrimmar was named after Orgrim Doomhammer, who was, let's see, did he grow up with Thrall? I think he grew up with Thrall and was like his best friend. Or no, he grew up with Durotan and was Durotan's friend and then Thrall's mentor. Yes, that sounds more correct. It's been a while since I've read that book. So Doomhammer, I didn't point it out when we were standing there with Thrall, but that's his hammer, his mace that he holds. His Doomhammer, and that was given to him by Orgrim Doomhammer after he was killed. I think the armor he wears, Thrall wears, was also Orgrim's. The book that I'm referring to is called Rise of the Horde, written by Christy Golden. It's easily one of my favorite of the Warcraft books that I've read. It's really good. Especially if you like the Horde side of the story. Orcs, for the most part. A number of the books are really good, but I would definitely recommend starting with that one if you've never read any. It's a great place to start to get a little bit of background on basically why a lot of the things, what happened that, you know, kind of set up the events of what led to all of Warcraft, how the orcs got to this world and all of that. They came from another planet called Draenor, which, if you played the Burning Crusade, you are aware of. That's what Outland was. Outland was the basically destroyed version of Draenor. And then if you played Warlords of Draenor, that's also what that was, except they got into all that time travel nonsense. I'm not gonna get so lucky. Oh, I had like a fraction of a second left. get a second one? I bet we are. Oof. That was close. And now I'm as green as can be. Yikes. That was some bad poison. Or venom, I guess I should say. Speaking of Warcraft books, I've actually got one that I want to start reading. I actually might start that later today. It's all about Arthas. He's one of, if not the most main character in much of Warcraft 3. I'll continue that story in a sec. I have enough ingredients for a sapt of fire if you can find the reagent pouch and some fire tar. The Burning Blade fanatics carry the proper components for most of their spells in those pouches, and usually have enough of the items I need that we will not have to search much further for anything else. The saptas are always made from ingredients that are closely tied to their respective elements. It makes our work easier because of the warlock's ties to fire. These will do nicely. Fire is more than chaos and destruction. Do well to remember that. It is also about life and creation. All things are tied together in such a way. Forces oppose one another, but at the same time, one cannot exist without the other. Both extinguish one another, but also give one another meaning. Always remember this. Using different types of magic in conjunction with one another will show not only true skill, but great wisdom. The fire sapta is finished. The time has come for you to face the flame. Use the sapta at the shrine and head to the top of the mountain to face the manifestation there. He will not attack until you are ready, but he will realize you are able to see him. Strike him down swiftly, for he shall only grow in power the longer you take to slay him. Once he is defeated, place his glowing embers within the brazier and light the torch.
Okie dokie.
So I gotta drink this and then light this. So let's think here. He is a fire elemental, meaning I don't think my flame tongue weapon is going to do anything against him, so let's not use that. And yeah, I guess I'll use Strength of Earth still. I remember this guy being relatively hard. Although I am level 13, not 10, so he might not be so bad. Out of range. Oh, I gotta drink it by this rock, don't I? I might have to back up my totem then. There we go. Oh, so those guys are not able to be fought, but this guy is. He's level 12. He's not red. That's interesting. I figured he would be. I guess that's what he meant by he won't fight until you're ready. Alright, let's go. Oh, he hit me with a flame shock. Wow, that was not hard at all. The brazier stands about a third your height and looks normal, save for the inscriptions along its smooth metal rails. The metal shows no signs of wear from the weather, and the bowl seated at the top of it feels cool to the touch. A white-hot flame ignites within the bowl as you place the ember within. You can feel the magical effects of the sapta coursing through your body, and the fire dances rhythmically before you. You place the top of the torch within the basin, and it immediately catches on fire. Torch firmly in hand, you turn away from the brazier and look out over Durotar. You feel an excitement tugging at your spirit as the wind picks up and forces the flame to dance violently. You start off down the path back to the Barrens in search of Cranal Fiss. Or do I? Alright, well, let's do what it said. Look out over Durotar. This part here is actually the like level 5 and under area for the orcs and the trolls. Alright, so I don't talk to him again. So, as I was saying, oops. Oh my goodness. Oh, what a stupid idea that was. I had 13 health. How great would it have been if my first death was due to jumping off a cliff? But yes, back to the books. Arthas is one of the main characters in Warcraft 3. He gets a lot of screen time. There are a number of characters that are kind of all main characters. I think you can make a good argument that he's got the most story put in. I won't say much about it now, because the reason I'm talking about it is because the remastered version of Warcraft 3 actually comes out this week, as of the day that I'm recording this, and I'm super excited about it. I will certainly be playing it, and I am debating potentially playing it as a Let's Play. It won't be for my first time through the game. I'm definitely just going to play that on my own the first time. But I am thinking about playing it on this channel. So just in case that's the case, I will not spoil anything about Arthas. I actually bought the book a long time ago, like seriously years ago, when I first started reading the Warcraft books, and then for whatever reason I just got away from it. Look at all these herbs here. For whatever reason I got away from reading the books, and I just never got around to reading that one. But it is also written by Christie Golden, the same author that wrote Rise of the Horde that I was talking about. So I'm pretty sure I'll really like it. I think it really just goes into further detail on the events of what happens in Warcraft 3, but it really fleshes him out from the inside, which sounds strange now that I said it out loud, but it really gets into, you know, what was going on in his head, I guess, and in the internal battles that he was having from the events that were going on. So I'm really looking forward to that. One of these days, Peacebloom and Silverleaf will be gray to us, so I won't be picking these up anymore, but until that day, still trying. What am I up to? 85. We're staying green for a lot longer than I expected, to be honest. Clearly nobody's playing through Durotar right now because there are just stupid amounts of herbs out here. I don't want to kill you. Get out of the way. You want to die though? Oh, quickly. You want to die too, huh? Okay. Hopefully enough detours now. Let's head to the tower. So the way that we'll get there is actually on a Zeppelin, which is just basically what looks like a flying pirate ship. And they're run by goblins. And they're actually free. There's one that runs from here to Undercity, and there's one that runs from here to Stranglethorn Vale, which is a place we will not be for a long time. So we'll make sure to not hop on the wrong one. But they're actually free to use, unlike using Flight Masters, where you have to pay, you know, a silver or more to use. These are free. And as we have already learned from the Venture Co., goblins will definitely never work for free, so I'm assuming that means Thrall's picking up the tab on these. Oh, there's one. It's not the one that we need, which is good because that's going to leave the tower before we get there, I think. That's the one headed to Stranglethorn Vale. So we're kind of in central Kalimdor here. Let me make sure I'm aimed. Undercity, I think I'd mentioned, is up here, and then Stranglethorn Vale is way down here. So there's two Zeppelins that run basically to the opposite ends of the Eastern Kingdoms, so that's kind of handy for us. Couldn't do it. Just have to keep an eye on the tower and make sure our Zeppelin doesn't show up without me noticing. Let's go grab some free skinning while we're waiting. I can actually skin these ones, so this is not the same issue as what was going on outside of Thunderbluff previously. I'm curious if that ever got worked out. Nothing in the sky yet. I think the wait for the Zeppelin is like, I don't know, probably around 5 minutes. It's not too bad to make one full circuit. I think it probably waits at each of the 2 places for about a minute, and I don't know, it's approximately a minute travel in between. Obviously the game does not make you watch the flight across the ocean here. It just instantly teleports you across. Uh-oh. Heal ya. They only had a sliver of health. Oh, now he's coming after me. You're welcome. However you pronounce that. Mage. They had just the tiniest sliver of health. It's fun to help out other players, I think. I can't give any buffs, unfortunately, as a shaman. Druids are good for that, but not shaman. But I can heal them, so if I ever see somebody in trouble, I'll try to heal them at least. Oh, this guy cheered at me. Oh, thanks, man. Because I made it, I guess? I don't know. Out of all the Tauren on this Zeppelin right now, only one right here, their name has a cow joke. So this is a pretty good ratio. Usually there's a lot more. So as you can see, the tone has changed a little bit from where we've been in the past, especially compared to Mulgore. Quite gloomy and dark. This is Tearsful Glades, the undead starting zone. So, once again, what happened here I will not spoil, just in case I decide to play Warcraft 3 or in case anyone else decides to play. The undead get a lot of focus in that game. Hey, these guys take the same path down I do. Nice. So anyway, yeah, this is Tearsful Glades. And this is, as it just said, the ruins of Lordaeron. So this was a human city. And it was called Lordaeron. I think Lordaeron actually was the name of the whole region, and also the city. But it is no longer a human city. It has clearly seen better days, and it is now the home of the undead. So if you listen, I've got the ambience turned way up. You could hear the bell ringing, even though clearly it's not actually ringing. This is one of the cool things for ambience. So there's the bell there. As we move in here, you can hear people cheering. And there's these pink, red specks all over the ground. Those are actually flower petals. Oh, I apologize if you can hear that siren that's outside. And here's the Lunar Festival going on. And here was the throne. And I don't think we're going to be able to hear it because there's fireworks going off in here. But without all this in here, if you have the ambience turned up and you hang out in that room, you can actually hear conversation of spirits, I guess. And all of that is from Warcraft 3, so I'll give everybody a chance to go play that, and then finally you'll understand what I'm talking about. But that's a fun little Easter egg that I'm imagining most people probably never hear because they don't have the ambience turned up high, or just stand around in rooms for no reason. And anyway, I guess I didn't even mention, this is the inside of the Undercity. I went down in the elevator, and yeah, it's a lot different than probably what you'd expect. So these were like the sewers of the city, I guess, and then all this undead stuff somehow showed up. I'm not really sure how that works. But anyways, here is the map. So we're in the central area. This is the bank right here, right in the middle. Oh, let's grab the Flight Master while I'm here before I forget. There he is. And I don't have anywhere to connect to because I haven't been anywhere else yet. There's really nothing for us to do except to go grab that one quest. So the city is arranged in quarters, and this green one here, the Apothecarium, has this like scorpion tail almost looking chamber of room, or chain of rooms. That's where we're going. That's where the leader, I guess, of the Forsaken is. The Forsaken is the specific, I don't know, group, for lack of a better word, of undead that have maintained their free will, and that's the undead that we refer to that are in the Horde. They are specifically the Forsaken. Undead is a general term for all of the, you know, undead, zombie-type monsters that have been, you know, risen from the dead. And then the Forsaken are the specific group of these guys that have joined the Horde. And are not just mindless zombies, they're actually still, you know, capable of thought and everything. The undead do have a really cool backstory, so playing through them, one of their characters from level 1 is also really cool. And then obviously Warcraft 3 has lots of it too, so You know, I feel like for as much as I'm talking about Warcraft 3, I just need to play it on this channel. So here we are in the Queen's chamber. This is her.
This curse. What are we if not slaves to this torment? We are the Forsaken. We will slaughter anyone who stands in our way. I've no time for games.
Sylvanas Windrunner. She's awesome. This is Varmothras, who's a demon that, well, you know what? I'm not going to talk about it. Also Warcraft 3. These two have a lot of Warcraft 3, especially Sylvanas. She's got a lot of backstory too. Many denizens of the Legion bestow gifts on their followers, as you may well know. Some of these gifts the Dark Lady feels would be better off in her hands than in the hands of those with lesser vision. A sect of the Shadow Council, hidden in caverns below Orgrimmar, known as the Searing Blade, are a prime example. The lady tells me that members of the Searing Blade have come into the possession of 2 powerful spellbooks. She would like to borrow these books from them. You will get them for her. Alright, yes I will. And that's pretty much all we wanted to do here. So we've got all 5 of our RFC quests. That is nice. And we're finally going to use our Hearthstone, because it's a long trip back. And I don't feel like taking the Zeppelin, so we'll finally make use of this thing that I should be making more use of. And just like that, we're back in Thunderbluff. And you can see I've got a 1 hour cooldown to use my Hearthstone again, but I don't think we'll be using it again in an hour, so no problem. And I know we're finally ready to go get our fire totem, but I think this is actually a good time to wrap up this episode. That'll be the first thing I do next time. So yeah, we will do that. Thanks again for joining me, and I'll see you next time.